Thank you for the organisers, Lindy, for BHS, for giving us the chance to talk to you about behaviour. And I just wanted to ask, have any of you, like when you've been grooming or you're going to go for a ride or you're going to do something, you've had that thought where you're like, I just wish maybe it'd be a bit nicer if we could, maybe if the horse wasn't quite so nervous when we went out. Maybe it'd be nice if we couldn't go out on our own. If we could go out just and have a hack when we didn't have to rely on somebody else. Or has anybody ever had that thought, like, if I was a little bit more confident? Anybody ever been told, you just need more confidence? Yeah, you've been told that? That's a useless piece of advice. Like, I didn't know that. Thanks very much, love. That feeling of like not quite you or the horse reaching your potential. Yeah? Anybody? Just put your hands up. Let's like audience participation. It's early in the day. Anybody had that kind of feeling? Like you're not trying to get to the Olympics, but you just like to do it. You may be trying to get to the Olympics. I don't know, but you just want to do a bit more. You just, if I could just get past that, and that's so common. That's what I really want to touch on a little bit today. And work through some of maybe those issues briefly. Does anybody, because those like our hands, I'm like looking for a couple of questions. Anybody got a question they really would like me to answer during the next 37 minutes? Yes, go.
But every now and again, so especially when it's behaviour, it was in the school, if he can hear something, he will just, for no reason, he'll go from, you can ride him along and he will just drop the shoulder and butt me on.
He's a smart fella. So, for a Connemara pony,
yeah.
And pretty good most of the time, but sometimes, especially in the arena.
Well, it can be out on the ride as well, but generally if he's in the arena and you want to get him to work, but it's not that, like you can do the little Connemara buck when he just, bucks you and you...
Oh, bless him, the little Connemara buck, I love that.
It's the one that drops the shoulder and you cannot stay on.
So it's dropping the shoulder and you can't stay on. Wow, well, I almost wish I never asked now. Anybody else?
Got an Arden, 15-3, 850 kilos, bites everyone except me.
Okay. Is that a problem?
Well, I say it would be, yeah.
It's not a problem for you though, is it?
No, it is for other people, yeah.
Oh, it is for other people?
Yeah.
Has he got to be handled by other people?
Sometimes.
Okay, so we've got an Ardennes, he's at 850 kilos and he bites everybody apart from you? All the time?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Third time lucky? Go on. I feel like Annika Rice now.
I've got an American paint who at the moment is having real issues with being tied up. He's wrecking my fencing. He just pulls till he breaks everything and then goes on.
Fantastic.
7 years.
7 years he's been wrecking the fencing?
No, he's not done anything for 7 years. She was given him after he'd been standing in a field for 7 years.
Wow, and then you tied him up and discovered he doesn't tie up?
He will tie up. When we first got him, he was fine. But at the moment, you tie him up to a post or anything, he's wrecked.
Okay, so there's an American paint that when you tie him up, he hadn't done anything for 7 years, you got him, you tie him up to the fence, tie him up, and then he's okay to tie it, but then he'll pull back.
Yeah, but for no reason. You could be just stood there and you pull, and then he pulls the post out.
Oh, poor boy. Okay, so and he's pulling back, and wow, what? Yeah, oh my gosh. The talk that I said I was going to do was about the 6 key kind of steps to working with behaviour and busting a few myths. So just before we do that, I'd just like to very briefly say, so my name's Ben Hart. I've been working with equine behaviour and human behaviour for 20 years, and I'm a trainer who uses the science of behaviour So I'm also a behaviourist, qualified with the International Association of Animal Behavioural Consultants and the Animal Training Behaviour Council in the UK. So everything we do is kind of regulated and look at the holistic approach to the animal. And I've been lucky enough to work all over the world with horses, donkeys and mules. Any donkey owners in the audience? Fabulous, we like to include them, good. And what's really important is we begin to think about this whole process of behaviour and some of the myths around it and some of the simple steps. And I'm going to give you 6 simple steps if we can get it in, because behaviour is such a massive topic that it can be so easy to just be overwhelmed with what do I do. The first thing you do is you must always eliminate pain and environmental issues. I cannot tell you the number of times in 20 years that I have seen animals miraculously improve when you remove pain. So like with a biting issue, the first thing I want to know is that animal in pain in any way? With dropping the shoulder, not that little lovely column. I love the way we tolerate that in the horse world. Oh, he didn't mean to break my leg, it was an accident. We don't iron those things out, we don't ask those questions. Why does he have that little Connemara butt? Why does he throw that shoulder? Is there pain involved? Okay, fantastic. So you've made lots of investigations into teeth, to tack, to feet, to gut, to ulcers, to leaky gut, to hindgut bacteria, you've gone into the process of making sure that pain is not an issue. I'm going to park that for today because we could talk a whole session about that. You've got the people out that are qualified to do it. Then, environment. Is your animal in an environment that's stressed? That causes stress? Does he have enough freedom to move, to roam? Does he have enough friends? Does he get social contact? And does he have the right diet or forage and fibre that he should be eating? The number of times you go, my horse, he really is very, very stressed in the stable. Oh, okay. What sort of horse is it? Oh, he's an Arab. Okay. What were they bred for? Well, endurance racing and being out for like 18, 20 hours and doing all that. And how long is he in the stable? 23 hours a day. I think we might start with changing that environment. So the first thing we were doing, looking at our horse that's biting, what's the environment like? Is the environment causing stress that causes him to want to bite and to be uncomfortable? So I'm going to park those two a little bit because they are big explorations, but any behaviourist or trainer should be saying to you, have we eliminated pain? And if you, I don't think he's in pain. That isn't really eliminating pain. That's asking your vet, it may be asking a professional, it may be taking some tests, all those sorts of things. Have we made the environment as positive as possible for the animal so that they can be in a good sense of mind? Anybody work in an environment that's really stressful? Do you get a bit snappy sometimes? No, never. Fantastic. I like you. The rest of them are like, yes I do, why are you asking? Emotional shutdown. Holy moly. And we put our horse into a really stressful environment and go, why aren't you behaving perfectly? Because I've gone into emotional shutdown. And much was marginally better than biting your face off. So think about environment. That said, this is a lovely horse. He's getting used to me shouting from this distance. I'm shaping his behaviour. That's step number 3. The first step that you want to think about is what's the true nature of the animal? There's been a lot said about this over the last 20 years, maybe a little bit longer, about horses being flight animals, that sort of thing. If that is true, how come people say, oh, he's just taking the mickey? And 2 of you got caught out because today you said he did it for no reason. There is always a reason. Horses don't trot around and think, I'm bored, what should I do? Oh no, got ya. That's funny, I love it. I love it when she lies on the floor and screaming in agony. I'll just stand at this fence, she's not looking, I'm going to wreck it. Now, go! Oh look, I've got a fence tied to my face. Ooh. I make light of it and I know it's frustrating, but the minute you say no reason, you stop looking for the reason. Horses always have a reason for what they do. Because they're flight animals. Being trapped, tied up is a really difficult thing. Getting rid of the rider. It might be a learnt behaviour. It might be a pain behaviour. It might be to do with the environment. There's all sorts of things we need to explore. But the true nature of equines is always to be submissive. Now, a lot of people, there's a lot of talk about dominance. Anybody ever heard someone say in the equestrian world, he's just trying to be dominant? Nobody ever heard that? Oh, you have? Look, I know it's early in the day and you're warming up. Anybody ever heard, put your hands up, nod vigorously, someone say, oh, he's just trying to be dominant? If you've ever been on Facebook or some other social media and you've typed in, why does my horse do this? What is the top answer? 100 points, he's just trying to be dominant. Your horse is not trying to be dominant. If he wanted to be dominant, he could be. He can run faster than me, he can kick harder than me, he can bite harder than me, he can do everything stronger than me, he can run away faster, he doesn't have to do a damn thing that I want him to do. Yet they choose to. He may want access to resources, he may be fearful and want to move away and you're trying to say, no, you're going to deal with something. But he is not trying to be dominant. He may not have learned what he's supposed to do. He may lack experience. Your horse is not trying to be dominant. When you take wild studies, there is very little aggressive behaviour. There is very little behaviour that you would attribute to trying to be dominant. So once you get that out of the way, we go, okay, what's he trying to do? He's trying to survive. He's trying to find the easiest path through the day. And if there isn't an easy path, then maybe I'll adopt the flight mechanism. If I can't adopt the flight mechanism, I'm going to evoke my right to do the fight mechanism. If you've got a donkey, donkeys are a little bit different because they evolve differently. They have evolved from an environment where they lived on their own or held a territory. To hold a territory or live on your own, you tend to have much more of a fight instinct. So donkeys suffer from the fact that people don't understand their true behaviour. You ask a horse to do something scary and they go, and we can see all the bulging eyes and the flaring nostrils and all that, and we go, he's scared. You take a donkey to something scary and they go like this. It's a bit worrying. And you're like, well, come on then. He's like, no, it really is a bit scary. And if you ask again, he might go, no, I really can't do that. And people look at the donkey and they go, oh my goodness, he's not doing what I want him to do, but he's clearly not scared because I'm reading him on the horse body language scale. Therefore, he must just be stubborn. A complete misconception. It's a myth, it's not true. But if you base your fact on the fact that donkeys are stubborn, you're going to have a trouble creating the relationship. And it's the same for horses. So, we've got to think about what's the true nature. What's the true nature of our horse that's pulling back? On top of that, we need to know the horse's individual learning style. So let's meet this lovely horse here who's been very patient. What's his name? Brandy. And what does Brandy do?
Bit of everything, happy hacking.
Bit of everything, happy hacking. Don't say like that, like it's an apology. That's an amazing thing. He does a bit of everything. Anybody want to buy him? They've all got horses they can't do a bit of everything on. Okay, can I borrow him a little bit here? Brandy, we're not going to do anything with you. We're not going to get you out of a walk, okay, I promise. Look at his behaviour. Look where his comfort blanket is. Look at the confusion. Hello, what's going on? All I want to do is give him a few scratches. Look at how he's investigating. That you can see, you begin to get a mindset of who is he as an individual? What's he worried about? How does he explore his environment? How quick is he to ask a question? Oh, you don't want me to go down that side? You want me to be just here? Let's see if we can just... Let's open a little channel of communication. So the next thing we need to do while we're working out our horse's learning style, this is just a little bit of positive reinforcement. We're mimicking some of the mutual grooming, so we'll lower his heart rate. It's a really good way to reward horses and make connection. Can I tell you that horses, donkeys and mules understand things that are closest to their normal and natural behaviour? And you never ever saw two horses pat each other in all your life. How you doing, mate? Doesn't work. What they do is to mutually groom. And so, working hard enough to get that reaction. Oh, back a bit, sorry. Do you ever see a horse do that when you pat them? Do you ever see a horse do that when you say, good boy, well done? It's nice, but it's for us. If you want to reward the animal's behaviour, it's got to be big enough that it's actually a reward. I'm just taking a moment because he doesn't know me, just to say I might have got something you want. Good boy. Can you see the conflict now? Go with that fella, go over there to the two legs that I know and trust. Honestly, I've got some good stuff. That's why I wear gloves all the time. That's why they've got holes in the ends. If you're scratching hard enough to get the response, you're probably beginning. Look at the way he's positioning himself where he wants to scratch. Oh, sorry, just there. Let's just go over here. I'm just gonna, you can do this at home. Your horse's individual learning style. Some horses are like, no I can't, no I can't, no I can't, no I really can't. Others are like, no I can't, no I can't, oh maybe, no I definitely can't. Others are like, no I can't, no I can't, oh go on then, I'll give it a try. Some are like, no I can't, yes I can. And some are like, yeah I can do that, ooh, I wish I hadn't. And you've got to adapt what you're doing to that individual style of the horse. Let's just put something out here, very simple. Let's say I'm not trying to make him go over it, I'm not trying to fix it. He's still looking back for a bit of support. Where are you? You want to put something down your horse hasn't seen before that's safe to do, and you want to see whether they are going to walk over it, whether they're going to walk round it, whether they're going to say, yeah, I can do that, no, I can't, how many times it takes them to approach it and look at it. Good lad. And they're all going to be different. And what you've got to learn to do when you're working with the individual learning style is just figure out, how do I present the challenges that my horse faces? It would have been easier to go over it, but you've chosen to go round it. Okay. Sorry, buddy. Let's ask him and see what he wants to do. Oh, good lad. So you're sort of seeing this horse that actually needs a little bit of direction. If you go home and you go, do this, they'll probably do it. But you want to see, what if I ask you if you want to do it? You can do something like get a bit of tinsel, get a little pom-pom, something they haven't seen before. And you can say, what am I going to do? Don't run at them like, come on, let's see if I can put it on you. It's a new game. As they disappear down the yard for no reason. You see that little bit of, oh, what are you doing? Tiny. And this is about communication. So the step 2 is to start thinking about perfect communication, positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, and punishment. Did I say negative reinforcement twice then? Oh, good. So, these are all big. So he wants to explore this. He's a horse. Is he a horse that when you take him to stuff, he wants to sniff it, he wants to look at it, he wants to play with it, he wants to explore it before he's like, oh yeah, I can do that? So that's the sort of horse he is. So that's what you need to let him to do. If you say to him, no, you've got to do it straight away, he's got conflict in his mind. So you need to be thinking about getting that horse, and it's the same thing as down there, round it several times, deal with it, he looks uncomfortable, he's sort of coping. Just come around here, show everybody your beautiful face and they can see what you're doing. So you want that natural reaction, you don't want him to freeze. And that's almost identical to the same pattern as down here. Go around it, go around it, go around. Okay, I can do that. Good lad. Yeah, it's all gone now. So learn your horse's individual learning style. And then we want to communicate. Positive, negative punishment. Really briefly, big topic, but every method, whether it's BHS, whether it's natural horsemanship, whether it's clicker training, positive, it doesn't matter. They are all based on the science of behaviour. If you've never studied any other trainer, but you just do stuff at home, you're still using the science of behaviour. So I figure it would be probably sensible to understand the science of behaviour so that you can get your communication right. Positive reinforcement is adding something to increase the likelihood of the behaviour happening again. It's really powerful, but it doesn't work like this. I've got this trailer. I know you're terrified of getting in the trailer. He's not. I'm just saying that. Make it up. Believe. It's a story. Doesn't want to get in the trailer. I go out. I give him a little carrot and I expect him to get in the trailer. That's positive reinforcement, isn't it? How many of you have got fear or phobia? Everybody's like, no, I don't want to admit to that one. Spiders, snakes, heights. Anybody going to hold their spider or pick up the snake for 50 pence? But 50 pence, money, it's a reward. I have to make the size of the reinforcement big enough to fit what we're asking them to do. So that'll bring us into the next step, which is shaping, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Negative reinforcement, that's about the release of pressure. That's pressure. Can you see how much pressure I put on him there? And he leaned forward. He felt pressure here, he felt pressure under his chin. The moment he moved, I took the pressure off. Negative reinforcement, squeeze with your side, pull on the rein, put the rein against the side of the neck, it doesn't matter. Negative reinforcement, the release. Oh no, it's still there and it's not moving, it's okay. He's like, oh, they're creeping up on me. That release of pressure. If you do not get the release of pressure right, then you're going to have a problem communicating. So he's learnt to release the pressure by pulling the fence out. So tying him up to a stronger, bigger fence is just going to end up in more injury and damage and all that sort of thing. You don't need to pull harder. There's a sort of thing where people escalate pressure. It's like being abroad, they don't understand what you're saying, so you shout louder. And you wave your arms more. Now do you understand? I want the toilet. I'm not going to do the sign language for that, but that's what we do to horses. We pull harder, we try and make them stay in, we try and tie them up more, we try and put more pressure on, rather than just actually using a bit more time. And you can see it. Let's see how good he is at backing up. So there's pressure on his nose. That's negative reinforcement. He can feel that. And there, I've just waited a whole 4 seconds. So when we're training, we might just have to wait for that release of pressure. And we understand punishment. I'm not going to go into it, but it's anything that stops the likelihood of the behaviour happening again. Everything I'm talking about, I'm going to give you some references where you can find out more and everything, but really get to know about it so that we can communicate. Then we need to shape behaviour. Shaping behaviour is breaking things down into small, manageable chunks. Anybody ever tried to learn anything new? Gosh, you're really, oh, 3 of you, well done. The rest of you are like, no, never. Never learned anything, never learned to drive. When you started learning to drive, did they just take you to the motorway and go on, you'll be fine? No? That's what we do. I think he'll be all right if I just get on and we can go for a ride. And you know what? So many of you have lacking confidence, your legs doing this. That's great, I'm looking forward to riding today. It's nice, isn't it? You know, you're putting all that pressure on. Don't put the pressure on. We have to make the steps small enough to shape the behaviour. And they are tiny. Anybody got a horse that suffers from separation distress? Yeah, a few of you? Well, what I'll do is I'll just separate him for 5 minutes and see how he gets on. Doesn't seem like very long. Maybe only 3 minutes. That's better. But I'll try a smaller step. Any of you who've got that, admitted to that fear or phobia, I'm just going to get you to hold a spider for 3 minutes. It'll be fine. If you're the one with the fear, the phobia, you don't understand, the step for like separation distress is, can you stand there and can your friend stand just over there? Can you stand 10 metres apart, 20 metres apart? Can I still see you? Can I stand in the stable while you're outside with the door open, half shut? We make the steps that we're using too big all the time. We take the risk and it's never worth taking the risk. So we've got to shape the behaviour, make the small steps. Step number 4, stretch the comfort zones. This is the bit where people go, okay, you've got a fear of spiders. Let me just take this spider, it's lovely, you hold him. And they walk it and you're like, no! And they keep coming. Until eventually you either punch them or run away. And we see that in our horses. Come on, if I just put a bit more pressure, negative reinforcement, and drive him forward, it'll be okay. Yet his comfort zone is going, no! Don't do it! What we have to do is we have to stretch that. Me just taking him from his wonderful owner, his human over here, was a stretch of his comfort zones. Me bringing him over here to this mat, just the 2 of them was a stretch. 4 of them was a bigger stretch. Bringing a strange pom-pom out, it's another stretch of the comfort zones. You have to watch how tiny they matches the shaping plan. So when we start to think about our tying up horse, okay, I'm going to show you where to start on our shaping plan. Which reminds me, how many of you, horse trainers, and you're all horse trainers, or donkey trainers, because you're interacting with your animal, how many of you have got a written plan for whatever it is you're trying to fix? Wow, that's amazing. Virtually nobody, apart from a few good people over here. The point is, why not? You're trying to keep like 100 steps in your head, figure out where you're going. People get to the stable door, they go, okay, today I'm going to train you, yeah, I think that'll be all right, we'll do it this way. Rather than go, what is my clear plan? A written plan will free up your brain and keep the steps small. It's amazing benefits. So if we're thinking about our tying up horse, can he do this? Can he step forward off the pressure? Good, so you're on the training plan. Brilliant, well, that's amazing. Can he do this? Will he bring his head round? Good, will he do that? Okay, will he do this? Do you see how quick he is? He's amazing. Yeah? Those are the steps, because if you can't come off that pressure as a horse for a tie-up problem, you aren't going to get over the problem. But what we do is we go to the problem to solve the problem. He doesn't like going in the trailer, let's get the trailer out. He doesn't like tie him up, let's tie him up. Okay, what we need to do is start teaching him how to be able to stand still and be bored for a start. We just start, you're brilliant at this. He's brilliant at this, good training. Just stand here. What are you doing? Just teaching him to be bored. Start with 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 50 seconds. Work up to a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. But we build it up. We start to go, okay, can I get you to, we'd start to use a longer rope. And we'd start to just get him to come off that pressure going forwards here when I'm on his side. Good lad. And we use positive reinforcement, and we stretch his comfort zone, and we teach him that actually just standing still is where you need to be. That's the thing to solve the problem. At the moment, his way of solving problems is pulling back. So we need to solve that problem. We need to teach him in these tiny steps where he doesn't actually have to pull back, because every time he pulls back, he reinforces pulling back. Every time he goes in the arena and he does that shouldery thing and he drops you, then he's learning that's what he's doing. And that's what works. So we have to avoid being in a situation where that happens because we reinforce the neural pathways in the brain. We need to take the training back. The place to fix this is not in the arena. It's out saying, okay, how do we train this? How do we work with this? My horse pulls to grass. How do I fix it in a field of grass? What you do is you fix it back in the training space, the arena, where you can control the environment and you work with these things. Okay? And then you start to have an elasticated tie. Don't tie 'em up. That's simply so that you can put your long rein through against the wall and you imagine like we're going to just tie up, okay? We start to shape this behaviour. And it might be that you'll see that his comfort zone is like, I can't go any closer to that fence, I know what you're doing. So you practice your grooming just here. This is where I want you to stand still. And then as he gets better, you go, let's go over here. You're amazing. And we get practice, and then we get over here, and we actually say, look, we're standing, being bored with our head towards something at the fence, and we practice just grooming and handling and doing that. And if he wanders off, we bring him back, and we reinforce standing still, and then maybe we get the line, and we just put it through an elasticated tie, so it's got lots of give in it. We use a long rein. He can pull back a little bit, but he's not going to wreck the fence or himself, and we work on it. We build the shaping plan. We've stretched the comfort zones. We want to have a deliberate plan for trust, problem solving, and confidence. So, lots of people try to get their horses to be more confident. They try to have more trust. Everybody want more trust with their horse? Yeah? Be nice, wouldn't it? What is trust? Give and take? Sorry? Knowing what the other one wants? Being safe. Can I trust you to let me down? Could I trust you to always be late? Could I trust you to always be, I don't know, rude to my mother-in-law? Trust isn't just positive, trust is about predictability. Simply the ability to predict the behavior of another animal or person. So if you can do your shaping, you get to begin to predict the animal's behavior. So we have our small steps. We start to say, why is it that we've got a situation where he's biting everybody else? If it's not pain, if it's not environment, can we start to look at what the other people are doing? Can we get him to have someone approach 10 feet away, he's calm and relaxed, we give him the positive reinforcement to go, brilliant, and then maybe they get 5 feet away, and that's good, we stop, and then you go, off you go, mate, I don't want to see you till tomorrow. What we do is we do the creepy thing. We go, right, if you've got, he's fine to pick up his feet, yeah? I thought it might be. Just excuse me. So, what people do is when they're trying to fix behavior problems, they do this. And they see how far they can go before he kicks. How close can I get you before you get bitten? How much do I tie you up before he pulls back? How many times around the arena before it happens? We're like a blind man in a dark room trying to figure out when it's going to occur because we want to trust the animal. Once I can trust you're going to kick me whenever I put my hand here or there or whatever you're going to do, then we feel more comfortable. But we don't want to do that. We want to shape the behaviour, so I don't mind. Look, if my horse doesn't pick his feet up and he's really comfortable just there, I've stretched the comfort zones, I've shaped the behaviour, I'm going to reward that behaviour, I'm going to go, right, now go off and do something else. And we build on it and we create it and we make it happen. So we must have a plan, a deliberate plan in my opinion, to create trust, because out on the road it doesn't happen. Shaping plans are about being able to do these small steps, but they're also about the steps that nobody else does, which is the generalization. People say, Ben, he's really good in the arena with an umbrella and a tarpaulin. Okay, that's fantastic. It's brilliant. It's not necessarily going to help you on the road. We need to generalize. What's he like in the field? What's he like in the lane? What's he like in the yard? What's she like when we long rein her to do those things? So we start to do all of that so that they generalize. We as humans generalize very easily. You meet somebody, they're in a grump, you go, they're a grumpy person. We don't necessarily think, well, maybe they've had a bad day. We generalize. Horses, bless them, they see some bunting here, that's bunting. If they get used to it, they go, I know what bunting does when it's there. You put it over there, that's different bunting. What are you talking about? Bunting in the field? Whoa, it moves around in the dark. What about that bunting? Whoa, no, I didn't know it got out on the road, it's escaped. We have to expose them. So you tie your horse up in one spot and you get him to tie up there and you go, yes, he can tie up. Let's go and tie him up over there. And he goes, whoa! So the generalization is you go back down the shaping plan, you go somewhere else, you begin to teach them to tie up over there, tie them up over there, tie them up over there, outside, inside. You increase the levels of thing. Whatever you're doing, these are the rules of the science of behaviour, and these are the things you have to apply. Finally, last step, you have to enjoy the journey. I see so many people, they've got horses and they're like this. I love it. It's really good. Really enjoying working with my horse's behaviour. You got all the helpful people on the yard going, well, if you just do this and if you just do that, and you're like, I don't know what to do. I just want to do the right thing. The right thing is to be kind. The right thing is to slow down. The right thing is to learn about the science of behaviour and find the easy steps. You should be enjoying this. It might take 3 months. Oh, well, that's not good enough. I need to get him to tie up now. You don't have a horse that can tie up now. You can use more pressure. You can use a bigger gadget. You can force it. Tie him to a big, one of those iron stanchions there and a bit of chain, he'd probably never pull back. Won't be able to break it. He'll break his neck, but he won't break the stanchion, he won't pull back. And so we have to choose what sort of relationship do we want. Most people start out picking their method. I'm going to do this. And then they end up with a relationship that they maybe didn't want. Because what we should be doing is starting, what sort of relationship do I want with my animal? He's desperate to come back to you, he doesn't like me. Well, he does. He likes my scratches, but he'd rather be with you. He's amazing. You can take him out. You can do whatever you want to do with him. We're finishing up. Thank you, Brandy. Don't clap. I know he deserves it, but we don't want to scare the pants off him. So we just put those things together. And then we start to believe in ourselves. You know, there are so many experts out there, experts, including me, I'm an expert. I'm just using the science of behaviour and to begin to find your own path. I am not going to tell you, you must do this, you should do that. Here's a method. Your environment, you, who your horse is, everything creates a unique combination, and you need to find that journey. You need to find what works for you, for your animal. And enjoying that investigation. Why does he bite? The frustration. Let's enjoy that. Maybe he does it here, but does he do it over there? Does he always do it when it's this? Is it eyesight? And we enjoy that. We enjoy the process of learning. We enjoy the process of going, let's explore this problem. Let's really find out why there is a reason. Maybe actually that's not his thing. And we need to do something that is his thing. And we move that way. So there's so much to take on. It's a very brief kind of investigation to get you thinking, to get you considering that you are all good enough to solve whatever problem, to work with whatever issue you have. People say, oh, but Ben, you know, I'm 60, I'm 70, and? Smaller steps, positive reinforcement. It's not about strength and size. Oh, I've only been doing it a couple of years, I don't really know much about horses. You probably know your horse better than anybody else. Most people I know the right thing to do for their horse. They often just need the permission to do it. You know your horse, think about it, slow down, do those things. To finish up, just to say, look, I have just touched the tip of the iceberg. We've rattled through a whole bit of science to try and give you some motivation to explore deeper, to think about it. So I've got, if you want to explore more, there is my website, which at the back, maybe not, those ladies are sitting on them, but put it on the wall. Thank you, Vanessa. There's some barcodes, QR codes. If you get your camera out, if you've got one phone camera, take a picture. It will actually take you straight to the website. It will take you to where you need to be. You don't even have to type the website in. Isn't that amazing? You might have to download an app, but it's there. You can go, just scan it, and oh, look, there, I've done it. Don't have to, do it now. Do it in the break. Don't do it, I'll do that later. Later is like a real enemy of all this. So, you can do shaping lines. You need a tying up plan. You go to the website, you find the tying up plan, it's got like 50, 100 steps in there, it's got all the stuff I've been talking about, and you follow that plan. Okay, maybe you need to go and just explore more about online learning. Maybe if you need more confidence, you go to the website on Thinkific that's up there and you learn on the courses about more confidence. Or maybe your horse is anxious and you fix it there. Or maybe you want long-term support. I'm going to give you the final tip as I'm packing up before they throw me out. I want to say, look, you've got to immerse yourself in it. You can't just tip in, do a little bit of behaviour. You need to immerse yourself. And the best way to do that, I'm going to ask you to really take advantage of me. Steady. Now, you go up there, you find the QR code, you find the website address if you haven't got that on your phone, you type it for the Equine Centre Behaviour Community, and you go there, and you go there, and you get a whole month free. You can read everything. You can look at all the videos for a month. You can do them all, and at the end of the month you go, I quit. Not doing it. And that's absolutely fine. If that's what you want to do, if that's for you, great, do it. If you want to stay on and get the support, if you want to stay and get that long-term approach, if you want to be in a positive environment, then explore that. But go and do it. Thank you very much. Good night.